Hello everyone. Hope that you are busy with your preparations, definitely. But I know that you are worried because it was a bit quick that NTA might have announced the dates for the exam, right? You are worried with all kinds of units or all the hectic syllabus you have with your subject paper. And there are high chances that you might miss the major part. The subject paper itself is a major part, but still there are some determinants that can sometimes define your scores, sometimes even determine your career as well. So every time many of the aspirants and candidates make the huge mistakes that they focus more on the subject topic and might miss this major part, paper 1. But some of them, okay, of course, they will consider paper 1. But what they would do is like they will just exempt some portions. Here, we are not supposed to make any kind of mistakes. I am myself Manubi, part of Panacea Paper on Classrooms in collaboration with Vallath TES, is right here to assist you with the major portions in your paper 1 syllabus. We here at TES has exclusive classes both offline and online for paper 1 portions. You might have seen some of our videos, mathematical reasoning classes. But let me say, paper 1 is not about mathematical reasoning alone. Let me talk something about paper 1. As you know, it has almost 10 units. Some of you might have the detailed idea about those things. Somehow, we will be trapped in the dilemma that paper 1 is sometimes about calculations alone. No, you need to have proper awareness about paper 1. That's why at Vallath TES we have dedicated weekend classes for paper 1. At weekends, at offline batch we have about 4 hours dedicated for paper 1 minimum. Sometimes it goes 8 hours. For the online batches as well, we have dedicated hours for paper 1 alone. Here we does both online and offline classes along with group discussions conducted at the class itself. They will be provided with previous year question papers for their workouts. They will be having different activity sessions to make the class interactive and engaging. So along with all these things, we also used to celebrate paper 1. Definitely celebrating events in paper 1. Do you remember which is the World Environmental Day? Of course, you have to browse about it. World Environment Day will be celebrated here through brochures both for the offline and online batches. We do all kinds of these celebrations right here at TES. And in that manner, we interact with our subject and make it more interesting as well. Myself, also a part of my own venture, Panacea Paper on Classrooms, we are in direct contract with Vallath TES for making this venture more interesting, more engaging, and more dedicated in this manner. At Panacea Paper on Classrooms, which we manage as a different institution, we have our dedicated batches as well, regular batches. We are exclusively designed for paper 1, where we sometimes conduct crash courses as well. By the time this video might reach you the dates might go off. But anyway, we are specially designed team members who are in connection with this beautiful institution, Vallath TES, for your assistance, for here to make you aware the importance of paper 1, because sometimes this particular thing called paper 1 or the general paper of NTA UGC net syllabus can even determine your scores for cracking your net, or sometimes that this one can make you miss your JRF. That importance should be considered here. So with our score enhancement programs, discussions, everything, we are here to assist you. You know what are the units in paper 1? Do you have any idea about the syllabus of paper 1? What to study? Whenever you hear paper 1, you feel like it's about mathematical portions alone. No, it includes theory portions as well. So what to consider is a major question. You always have this idea that, okay, we have questions from paper 1 where we have mathematical reasoning and data interpretation questions that might confuse me a lot. But you should know something. 80% of the questions in NTA UGC NET comes from theory portions alone. You know the mark distribution of NTA UGC NET paper 1 syllabus. In the question paper you see how much marks are divided. 10 marks for each unit, as you know. We have 10 units as well. Mathematical reasoning and data interpretation are 2 units in the syllabus. So combinedly they might take like 20% of the marks. Rest of the 80% should be dedicated to theory part. That doesn't, I'm not here to say that you don't have to consider mathematics just because it's only 20%. That is also important. Every unit is important. But this major share that you should not exempt, that's what something I'm here to talk about. So what I do here, what I teach here, you might be confused. Yes, I am teaching as many portions as I can, excluding the mathematical reasoning portions that you might be having interesting sessions from Ms. Aparna Nandan. Anyway, here I can handle you some portions in teaching aptitude, some portions in research aptitude, because the rest of the portions will be handled by another tutor from Panacea Paper and Classrooms, that is Ms. Grishma Ravindran. She is a very expert, having her MA degree as well in education, masters in education and English literature as well. So she can handle you with this teaching aptitude well as research aptitude, because me and Grishma ma'am, we both are research scholars as well. So we can manage you with research aptitude. Then communication. It's a major area. Sometimes you might miss, sometimes you might get very interesting questions, very interesting to study as well. So I will make you have a detailed session on communication here at TES for your NTA UGC NET paper 1 syllabus discussion. Then Indian logics. It's a new addition right from 2018 in the NTA UGC NET syllabus. We have seen this new topic, Indian logics, that comes at unit 6, logical reasoning. This need to be considered in particular because in the last few examinations portions have been here from Indian logics, pramanas, anumanas, hetuabhasas. Have you heard about this? Yeah, it is here. At TES, you have all the offline and online detailed classes for the courses you avail here. You get all the idea about all the newly added, updated topics and syllabus. That's not the end. ICT is a portion that we have that has terrified us in 2021, because in one of the sessions they have asked very serious questions from ICT. Earlier it was the most silliest of questions that they used to ask. Which among the following is an input device or output device? That kind of simple questions that they used to ask until 2016 or 17. But by 2020s, they began to ask very in-depth technical questions from ICT. So we have to consider that as well, which we will definitely consider in our coming sessions in ICT. That's not the end. Environment, Unit 9, another major portion from where lot of confusing questions have come in 2021 as well. Don't worry, we are here to help, and these are the portions that you will discuss here. As various videos, various sessions, you will have here our portions and interesting sessions on all the units in paper 1. So we got the idea that what is going on here, what we are going to do here at TES regarding this humongous yet simple portions with regard to paper 1. Don't worry, you will be confused, you will be having very weird ideas where to start, where very weird thoughts might be haunting your minds, right? Don't worry, we are here to help. I will just tell you something. I am here to just let you know how simple sometimes some portions from these units are and how we can handle these units well. Want to know more about it? Okay, I will just take one of my favorite units in NTA UGC NET paper 1 syllabus. Of course, my students always say, and of course your Kalyani ma'am always say, my classes on communication. That something that they got enough idea about? Okay, then we will start with communication itself. That is our unit 4 portion. Okay, so unit 4, you have to be aware how much units we have, which all units undertake which all topics, everything that you need to know about. So in that sense, unit 4, communication, is a major portion from where we have a lot of things to talk about, especially what is communication, which are the elements in communication, which are the types of communication, which all types, what are the basis of the categorizations of these types of communication, which are the barriers in communication, which are the types of contexts in which a communication process undertakes or takes place. Along with that, we have to talk about classroom communication, mass media and society. Lot of units come here, models in communication as well. Anyways, we are not going we are not beating around the bush or making you worried about all these things. I will just talk you about the most simple things, okay, to start with, because you need to get your basics right. So in communication, let me say, what is communication? As I told you, that is a major first thing that we will consider. Very simple idea. It's about exchanging ideas. We are communicating with our oneself, right? We are communicating each other through this session. I am talking to you, you are just hearing me, so it's a kind of communication. So what I am doing, I am just exchanging certain ideas with you at this moment. So exchange of ideas about something with someone is what communication is all about. So in this communication process, we need certain helpers, right? Which we call elements in communication that help our communication process. Elements. In every communication process, there is a person who sends a piece of information or who speaks a piece of information. He is called the sender, or technically he is the encoder in communication. You might be the guys who are interested in coding, right? Because a lot of courses are now regarding coding, to learn coding, okay? So code, you know what the concept of code means. Any message that we are giving to the device or the computer system maybe. So that's the kind of message that we are providing to our system. Similarly, in a communication process, we are providing a piece of information to the other person who is listening to us. So the one who provides a piece of information is called the sender, or he is making the code in that communication process. Hence he is called the encoder. He is coding the message, he is coining the message, he is framing the message, and he is sending the message. So he is called a sender, or technically he is called the encoder, one who sends the piece of information. Similarly, we have decoder as well, the one who receives the piece of information. He is also called the receiver or the decoder, because whatever information that we tell, that the other person receives, and he understands the message, interprets the message. So it's a decoding process that takes place in his mind, or that person's mind, hence he is called the decoder. So sender sends a piece of information, receiver receives that piece of information. But in between we have a few more people to talk about, few more things to talk about, which facilitates this communication. What is the sender sending, or what is this receiver receiving or decoding? It's the message. So the message, or that piece of information that is being transmitted from the sender's end to the receiver's end. Okay, so sender is sending a piece of information called the message through what? They have a transmitting link in between. The transmitting link in between is called medium, or the channel through which this message flows. So we have the sender who sends a piece of information called the message through the medium or channel to the receiver's end, where the receiver decodes the message But that is not the end of the communication process, let me say. The end of the communication process is marked by the feedback or the responses made by the receiver's end to the sender's end. Only then you are supposed to say that the communication process is complete. So I think I can illustrate that with a diagram here. Here we have the sender or the encoder who sends a piece of information called the message through a medium or channel to the receiver, who is technically called the decoder, and the decoder identifies the message, decodes the message, understands the message and interprets it in his own way, and finally he gives a response or feedback. Here you see that there is a swapping of roles at times, because now the sender is sending the sender has already sent a piece of information, and now receiver is sending another piece of information in the form of feedback. So there is a swapping of encoder and decoder roles, which was one of the questions. Okay, swapping of encoder decoder roles takes place in feedback session. Okay, so that is the plot diagram for the communication process, and I hope you got a small idea about the elements of communication here. We will come up with more such interesting videos soon on communication itself. Stay ahead.